Your coach will probably tell you not to do this, but this was a key detail in the brutal finish at the recent UFC heavyweight main event. UFC heavyweights main event in the UFC Apex, and these were big boys, and we're talking big boys like Catalina Collection big. Bam Bam Tuivasa and Tybura. What do we see when the fight starts? We see the stand-up exchanges, and we see Tuivasa getting the better of these exchanges. Tybura, he switches southpaw. He switches stances a lot, but he was predominantly going southpaw. I think the reasoning behind this is Tybura is aware of the dangerous calf kick that Tai Tuivasa can throw. Tai Tuivasa has one of the most damaging calf kicks, especially off the right leg, in the heavyweight division. We saw Cyril Gaines mitigate this by switching southpaw, but the difference was Cyril Gaines was much lighter on his feet and much more ready to either retract his leg or ping in that left straight, as Tai Tuivasa would take the extra step needed to throw the left calf kick. Tai Tuivasa still one of the few fighters in all divisions who will throw a really good right calf kick and then a really good left calf kick if his opponent is southpaw. But the thing is, with the opposite stance, it's that lead leg. There's not going to be as much damage, and he has to take this preliminary step to load it up. That being said, he landed it clean almost every time. Tybura didn't seem to have the reaction down on it. He wasn't retracting and he wasn't punishing him for it. This is likely due to the good setups and the good hands that Tuivasa was landing and the good timing on it. So he was landing that left calf kick really good. And Tuivasa was generally getting the better of this matchup in this open stance exchanges. In the hand fight, whilst playing patty cake, he was generally getting his hand on top. And he was steering Tybura into his right hand. He was throwing a right straight, but he was having a really clever detail with it where he was dipping his level and throwing the right straight almost to the chest. Because Tybura was ducking and he was hitting that right straight into the chin, and he was using this right hook, boom, into the body. Really beautiful shot into the open side. Body work, really underused at heavyweight, underused in general, but especially underused at heavyweight, because everyone's got lunchbox fists. They want to get the knockout. They've got the knockout before. What's in the lunchboxes? Probably spam sandwiches, probably with the Halloween edition black garlic mayonnaise that they sold in the Heron in Linthorpe Village for a little while. But he's landing these really good shots. Right hook to the body, right straight. He doesn't really throw that right high kick. He's not the most known for the high kick. He's normally hitting the calf with that right leg, but it wasn't there because it was southpaw. Tybura rushes in and gets a clinch, and Tai Tuivasa, this broken jaw is really difficult to differentiate these different names because they're so similar. But Tybura rushes in, and Tuivasa has this beautiful game off of this left underhook combining with the right elbow. Again, elbows are really well used in the sport, but underused at heavyweight. People have the lunchbox fists, and they want to put hands into the face because they know they can get the knockout. They've probably seen themselves get the knockout before with that, so they mitigate the use of the elbow. But Tuivasa, really good use of the elbow. He uses this left underhook high and steers Tybura onto the right elbow. He doesn't load it up either. He's not swinging his arm back, making it really open, and then giving away other clinch position and body locks. He's just tight, head position, left underhook, boom, replaces his head position with the elbow. Ones that he did really well against Derek Lewis. And he's done that well on the front foot. In this fight, he did it really well on the back foot as Tybura was pushing him back, kind of creating a collision. Tybura has a really good chin. So, Tybura starts to use the southpaw stance a bit better. First really, really good shot that he lands is this left kick. It's a left high kick. Comes around the temple a little bit. Bam Bam's got an insane chin. And he does manage to deflect it a little bit. But that's one of the first really clear shots that Tybura lands. And then we see Tybura rush in. He starts to shift his feet and square up as he's throwing his combinations. You can kind of get away a little bit of this orthodox, but it's 2 to 3 times more risky to do it southpaw to orthodox. But whilst he looks open and whilst he looks like he's going to get chinned off of that return right hand by Tuivasa, that's the moment. Beautiful decision. That's when he ducks under and gets onto the double leg into the clinch. He's driving him in. His legs get a bit extended. His arse comes up in the air, but he manages to dip the level in. Tuivasa, he's hit that split. He's defending in the correct way, but he gets a bit hungry for this underhook. So he starts literally just digging his fingers in, and he's got his fingers into the armpit of Tybura. This is where the issue is. You know, it's like when you're taking a dump, and then you're just letting it come out, and then your back cramps up or you sneeze. Something makes you tighten up. Boom. The end of that dump is gone to the toilet. In this situation, the hand of Tuivasa is the dump, and the gaping big body of Tybura is a toilet. Boom, flexed in. He's dug his hand in. He's not really used his legs to try and pull him up. This hand's gone. Boom, it's clumped to his side. He's not getting that back. And then that's when Tybura, instead of keeping driving on the fence, because Tuivasa's hitting the split, he cuts to the side, gets his knee between Tuivasa and the fence, and just fucking drives him into the middle. It's a really beautiful takedown. It's that angle getting him off the fence allows him to get this takedown. He's going on the side, so he's not going directly into the strength of Tuivasa. And, you know, the balance of the heavyweights isn't the same, so he drives him down to the mat. And then he enforces a really good half guard. Tuivasa's managed to get underhooked sometimes, but like Isaac Newton once said, gravity is fucking... And then, like Isaac Newton once said, big men got big gravity whilst you sat under the apple tree. Because of Tybura's really good head position, it was always in the chin. He wasn't sniffing the nipples. He wasn't sniffing the belly button and the crotch. Head was in the chin, opposite shoulder. In these pockets to have good control. He's ground and pounding away. So Tuivasa is a bit stressed and he rushes the stand-up. He rushes the stand-up. How so? This is something I'm always shouting about at people in the gym. Don't post on that elbow. Post on the hand. You feel like you want to go elbow then hand. You're on the elbow for a second. You're going to get Dagestani handcuffed. That arm gets trapped. He takes loads of punches, and the only way to alleviate the pressure and get away from the punches is by bellying down, circling away from the punches, but that gives up his back. Now, this is where an interesting detail from Tybura. He takes the back, and normally a jiu-jitsu coach would say, when you put the hooks, just dig the hooks, have the knees tight, don't cross the feet. Why? You cross the feet, there's risk for foot lock, and generally your knees open up and people can spin. But that's more prevalent in the face-up back control. Because Tybura was because Tuivasa even was face down, Tybura locked his feet. There's a really good example, Jose Aldo versus Mike Brown. He locks his feet together. Because he's just that big, there's that much pressure on him, he's got him still, and he's unloading with ground and pound. Normally, that's when people quad pod and kick their leg back, and they try and clear this knee back inside to clear the hooks. But if the feet are crossed, you can't do that, especially when he was getting belly down. Lots of big ground and pound. Tybura tries to turn it face up for a second, and if this was a bantamweight fight, we probably would have seen that happen. But a heavyweight, big boys, big gravity, big ground and pound, and he's taking shots. The finish is a rear naked choke, just kind of on the side. That side naked choke, it's still just as dangerous, especially when you've got your head panned in. That angle on the neck, it can still happen. Even it can happen tighter sometimes to be on your side and have that grip into the carotid arteries on each side. It makes a better angle sometimes when someone's completely face down. In MMA gloves, it's actually hard to peel the gloves in. But as we saw when Tuivasa was face down, Tybura didn't fuck around with trying to get his gloves in. He just smashed him like you do. Prioritize damage, and then the choke came. Brutal finish for Tybura. Lots of great fights on the weekend. Two amazing Cage Warriors events. Really recommend watching all that. Subscribe to the channel if you want CTE.